I've done bad things and made plenty of poor decisions, but I'll always remain true to myself. I would rather be hated for who I truly am than to be adored for someone who I'm not.
Hey everybody, welcome to KF&JF podcast. We got somebody on our show that's gonna live it up for us today, man. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this guy. You know, he's doing so much work out there. You know, he's helping so many people, bringing them to the light. You know, so let's thank him when he comes on. I mean, give him a round of applause when you see this guy. But you know, we'd like to tell you guys, thank you so much for coming to the Joy Be Love and the KF&JF podcast and supporting us. I mean, it's just been great, you know. But, you know, I'm not going to go all into all the formalities right now. I think this show is dying to get started because this guy is off the hook. So let's make sure we get him going. Let's go over to Razak and let him do his introduction. But after that, man, this show is on the move. Let's just get over here. Razak, do your thing.
Greetings. My name is Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow. This means I will assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. The method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your customers. I do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, subscribers, and other business owners. By using a wide range of networking tools, we will have an understanding for building your business profile, what type of social media marketing fits your productivity and your availability, and building your financial profile, branding your services, product, or merchandise. Together, we may also determine what type of license is needed to operate your business. And does your budget permit the ownership of your own domain or buying into pre-existing sites that host your page? I like to drive traffic by managing your website. This allows me to work with you to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. I also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or a page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. I also assist with the creation of the content on your media site. This will be a collaboration of ideas which will reflect on your brand, your work ethics, and the community's need to know what you have to offer them to bring a better quality of comfort to their lives and lifestyle. I can also assist with the writing of content, directing your videos, the editing process, and publishing them on various sites for marketing purposes, advertising, and promotional value.
Well, you know, again, we like to thank everybody out there, but also let's thank Razak for the help and things that he's doing out there to support the small business community and uplifting them to be able to, you know, put themselves together and, you know, put their website out there, help them to develop the things to help them to be successful. But, you know, besides all of that, we know that that's the formality of the show, but here we go. Let's see who this guy is, man. Let's introduce this guy. Introduce yourself, man.
Yo, what's up, Familia? My name is Alexander Orozco, Cuando Como No Conozco, also known on social media as the Hoodfoodie.
I don't know, man. You scaring me right now, man. Hoodfoodie. You know, I've been hearing I've been hearing you say that, man. You know, we're gonna start this show off by asking you some questions, and we want you to feel free to, you know, take your time, answer it, you know, the way you see fit. But I'm gonna start off with this question here. What's unique about you? What are some of the things that, you know, people don't really know about you? They see you all the time, they see you smiling, they see you moving throughout the community. But what are some of the things that you would like them to know that's a little bit unique about you?
You know, offhand, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people think that I got it all put together. But I've struggled, for most of my life, not knowing what was wrong with me. But I know, I have dyslexia. I think once in my life I've been able to read a book. I have bad memory, so I can't capture a lot of information. Bipolar depression. Well, I mean, everybody knows that I'm very, I'm an advocate for mental health, and if most of you know me, or most of you that don't know me, I'm big on mental health. I was diagnosed with bipolar depression years ago, and now finding out that I don't need medication, just the love and support that people have for me is my medication. So that's definitely one of the drives of the Hood Foodie. But yeah, I think maybe social media kind of paints a picture of of I don't know, of not reality, basically. And because for a long time, I don't know if people know this, that I've been doing this for the past 10-12 years, struggling myself, sometimes to this date. But I think social media always paints the whole like, oh man, the dude's like working with McDonald's, Don Julio, this, oh, he's in a movie like that. But at the end of the day, it's like, that's, I mean, that honestly, if people think that pays the bills, I mean, at least in my truth, nah. But I just want to make sure that people know and understand that I'm as human as you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like life doesn't stop, for me. Like I go through everything, like, my marital, financial, mental health issues. So that's definitely what I want people to know and understand about me, that if you think I got it all put together, I don't. I'm actually all over the place. But I know that there's value in me. So that's one of the things that I learned by love myself, and yeah, that's definitely one thing that I would want people to know, that if you think that I'm all there, like that's what I was telling you, like, oh no, like I'm not even supposed to be here. Like I could easily be like, oh, I can't, I'm dyslexic, so I can't do this. Like so many things, so easily that I could use that as an excuse. But once, like I said, once you start learning to love yourself and knowing yourself, oh man, that's like one of the most powerful tools that you can have. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody can tell you nothing. I run with my heart and everything, but in doing so, that's why the Familia is so, like, that's my heart right there, because it took people that were not blood related, or some blood related, but they thought I was crazy at the time. To encourage me, inspire me, when I started posting, about food, people were liking, commenting, sharing. And, I use this metaphor for a bunch of people, my people, like, it's like when you're crawling, learning to walk, right? Like, what are all the aunts and uncles, like, doing, like, around you, like, oh, Pepito, get up, like, you can do it. So basically, that's that for me. Like, that's, when people believe in you, like, for me, it inspires me. So yeah, that's I want people to know that I'm not all there, man. I just, it goes back to doing what feels right,
Right.
not
What feels right.
wasting your energy on things or people that might not even want the energy. And and just I've realized that once you give that energy to the people that do believe in you, that jump when they see you, like, oh man, like that shit, like, I mean, just the word, like, hey, my boy Keith, come on, what a motherfucking introduction. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have to, he did not have to, but he, like, the way that he introduced me, like, I'm over here like, damn, don't cry, Carmelito, don't cry, like, I mean, what do you say to, you know, and it's Keith, it's so and so, it's so and so, and so and so, and it's like it's coming from everyone. I'm like, damn, like what am I doing? Like sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm doing what feels right, and but yeah, but just but just to get off the subject, yeah, I want people to make sure that I am as real as everybody out there. Shit don't stop for me. I just don't fucking stop.
Well, you know, hey, that's what we want you to do, man. We want you to be real. So the whole thing is that I'm excited for you being here, and Razak is excited for you being here. I think this is an important part of, as men talking to each other and trying to let out all of the different things that we know. We don't always have the right answers, and we don't even know how we get where we are. But you know where it's from? It's from other people that help us walk this walk that we're doing. So, we give praise to all things, God and everything else. But I'm a little curious, man. How did you come up with the name? Tell me the story behind that. What drove you to the name of your business,
You know what I do, like, I mean, my lady claims that she's the one that came up with it, but I don't. There's nothing hood about her, so I don't know. I don't know how true that is. Like I said, I have bad memory, so I mean, I'm just like, oh, you know what? Happy wife, happy life, So yeah, but I don't know. I don't know everything from the logo to the name. Everything was just so organic, like what I'm saying, like even the brand, the actual fit, like the branding. It's like one day I came from a meeting. There was a meeting, and I came back, but they had mentioned, they're like, okay, well, you got the name right, what about the face? So I go home that night, and I'm like playing with the Instagram, Facebook, started playing with the filters, and then one of them had a like a cartoon cartoon thing. And yeah, it was just as easy as just like, and then took a picture, and then that's how the original logo came out. How did the name? I don't know. I honestly don't. But then I don't know. Like I said, I've been lost for so many years, and I'm like, shit. Am I hood? Am I not hood? Like I mean, shit, man. I mean, shit. What we went through, man. Like that shit. It felt hood. So it's crazy. But then sometimes I do catch myself like, dude, I'm a hood. Like I am hood. Like what I'm saying. Like everything about me is hood. And that could have been kind of coded, through my dark years and things like that, because I do not remember a lot from my childhood and my upbringing. Like I said, I do struggle with the bad memory. But yeah, man, it's just yeah. I honestly, like I said, I'll just say that my lady came up with it. I just don't. I honestly don't remember.
That's all right. That's all right. You did the right thing, man. Don't trying to take credit for something you have no business, and your lady's listening. Make sure you give all praise to her. Everything she does, she's right, and everything she does, she's the one that's responsible for.
Trust me, I know exactly what you're
Praise God for that. So let me ask you, talk a little bit about family. How important that is to you as you go through this business. You establish the business, and what were some of the things that you went through in the beginning when you started? Did the family ride with you, or were you alone when you started the business, or was everybody like, you know what, we're all on your side, man, let's do this?
Well, like I said, touching back on the subject, what Familia means to me is it's your support system, and it comes from everywhere. People that believe in you, that push you, that drive you. You know what? When I started doing this about 10, 12 years ago, I was doing it just for fun. Like I said, I had just got hit my rock bottom, and I feel like I just needed to get away what I had just gone through, and started taking pictures. It just so happens that there were, about small businesses. So at the time, like I said, Instagram had just started, and a lot of people were using it for marketing. So it was only the people that had money that were being featured, showcased. And then, like here I come, you know, well, not just me. Not just me. There was a bunch of us, you know, a bunch of people, you know, we started supporting small businesses and, you know, I don't know, something in my heart tells me that, you know, we were part of the first to push the movement of small businesses on Instagram, because now What Taquero doesn't get showcased. But going back to the business, I honestly didn't become an S corporation till maybe about 3 years ago. And I've been doing this about 10, 12 years. So did I know that it was going to become a career? No, I didn't. I just knew that this was the only thing that I knew that I was actually good at. Like I was never, like I said, I could never hold a job. You know, I would be given like positions like supervisor, management, and I think it was the whole fear of like failure that, you know, I would always kind of like, you know, get stuck. But you know, when this came along, it was just like, oh wow, like, you know, wait a minute, like people can use this like for marketing, and you know, brands are paying for, you know, sponsorship and this and that, and like, you know, then I mean, there was definitely a struggle in the transition, because I feel like a lot of businesses too didn't see social media as a business. They saw it more kind of like a fun thing. And then for the foodies, I know some dude in New York, you know, some ice cream dude threw shade at foodies, and then they kind of like got a bad taste in their mouth. And I know that, you know, not that I would always, I would never push people to work with me. I'm always the type of person that like, hey, if you want to work with me, let's work together. You know, I don't beg people. I just, you know, like I just it has to feel right. But you know, I remember coming across, you know, small, you know, food business owners, or I'm sorry, food business owners, period. And but there was like a, you know, a chip in the shoulder of certain chefs that did pop-ups, and they would be like, oh yeah, you know what, I would never fucking pay nobody to fucking do this, and you know, showcase me and blah, and that. And I was like, okay, well, all right, well, I'm not doing this with bad intentions. I'm doing it to uplift people. I get it. I mean, there's people out there that are fucking, you know, like I know too much kind of shit, like, you know, but I'm doing me, I'm doing it right. So you know, I got, you know, I was able to find a chef, you know, that I was able to ask, like, okay, so you love what you do, right? And he was, oh yeah, man, I could cook you the best meat. Yeah, Siri did. Okay, all right, cool. So if this is the only thing that I know how to do, that I'm good at, right? And now social media is used as a marketing tool where we can help each other. What's the difference between me and you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're doing what you love. I'm doing what I love. I'm not out here like, you know, trying to fuck people over. You know, it's so crazy because now, you know, it seems like everywhere we stop, man, you know, the other day I stopped at a small business, and you know, she needed some encouragement, and I was like, hey man, hey, come on, let's do this, you know. And for the past 2 weeks, she's you know, she sold out after hearing stories that she wanted to give up because she wasn't selling enough. So that's the kind of, you know what I'm saying, that's what you get with the Hoodfoodie, man. Like you said, you know, I'm not here just wham bam thank you ma'am. Like, I'm here to create relationships with the people that allow me to create relationships with them. And let me tell you, man, that there's no better feeling than that. You know, knowing that I can go to sleep at night, I could take my brand for as long as I want. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing, it started like a little ball, and it's just a snowball effect. Like, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And yeah, man. So it's very, I mean, to this day it's difficult. I mean, you know, obviously with social media, like, people have to have the numbers. It's the numbers and the numbers, but they don't see. And I get it. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. It got to the point where it's like, did people ride with me? Like, you know, so I would reach out to people, and I was like, damn, man, like, where's everybody at, man? Like, I've taken care of so many people, and now that I need help, it's like, where's everybody at, right? But then I was like, you know what? I can't blame them. I can't blame them because I'm myself. I'm trying to get out of here. Like I'm trying to do something with myself. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's running, and I think we just got to remind people sometimes. And that's what I kind of realize now that like now I'm somewhat getting more consistent work by reminding people who I am and what I'm all about. You know, like the other day I posted something of like, the disclaimer, like, because I feel like I said, for some reason, social media paints this thing that I have, like, oh, the dude's famous. Like, I'm still hood. I am still hood as hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, no, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Hey, the other day I stopped at a place and they were going to charge me. And, I don't think when people reach out to me, I just go. And it just so happens I was broke that day. Right. So, and on top of it, it was going to be this young girl that was going to charge me. And I'm like, oh, shit, like, damn, like, so I had to be real with them. Like, I'm like, hey, dude, canalito, like, I ain't going to lie, man. Like, I'm broke, so, but that just, like I said, that's me, that like, I feel that, God always keeps me afloat no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Even at my last penny, it's like, oh shit, like where'd this come from? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So for me, like, I'm not about the material shit. Like, yes, I know money's a necessity, and obviously I gotta support my put food on my table. But I mean, you tell me, man, it's like I'm good, man. I got a roof over my head. I got a family that loves me. I got a community that supports me. Like, I'm good. I'm rich.
That's the most important thing, man. Everything you're saying, man, is so real, and I really, I love it. I'm gonna pass it over to Razak right now and let him ask you a few questions. We'll go back and forth, but man, I love what you're saying. It's so important for everybody to understand that this guy right here, he's coming from the heart, and everything is important that he's saying, man. So listen up, guys.
Familia.
Go ahead.
So I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm wondering. Okay, so I'm not too sure you specifically was mention it, but what inspired you to pursue the current career that you have right now as a food? Well, you're basically a food critic. So what inspired you to do that specific type of career?
Oh no, like I said, man, like I had hit my rock bottom, and then I just started taking pictures. And next like I said, I'm working with the biggest names: Gordon Ramsay, hanging out with Aaron Sanchez. Andrew Zimmern knew who I was when I worked at Netflix. And it's so crazy to me because growing up, I was such a picky eater. I don't know how to cook, and I can't keep up with the culinary world, right? So how did I get into this? That I always say, Diosito's plan, God's plan. I feel like I was given a second chance at life. And one thing about me, like I ain't gonna lie, the word critic for me, I don't know, it's always had like a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know why. I mean, I feel that when people have a platform and they critique, they can actually break or make a business. And I'm not, I shouldn't even like be touching that. Why? Because when people started reaching out to me and they were like, hey, we would love to serve you, blah, 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 blah. I was like, yeah, let's do this, So, I would get there and I would see them, put their hearts and souls into what they were making for me to try. And like, I was like, wait a minute, like, who am I to judge people's food? Like I don't even, what I'm saying? Like growing up, I was a picky eater and I don't know how to cook. And yeah, I guess, I've created a palate, but other than that, it's like, like who was I to judge that? But to answer your question, I started running with it when I realized that it was a movement. Like it was bigger than me, in my first podcast, right? Like one of the things that people will find out quick is that I have no filters. You ask me, you better be ready for answers because I you know what I'm saying? Unless, I gotta, I can't overstep my boundaries, but, like I said, I know too much, but that's not my pedo. I mean, I would say pedo, but
that was good. That was good. You more than answered the question right there. You know what I mean? This is things that came about. You know what I mean? Life that put you in the position, you know, to become the food critic. When people asked you and they say, hey, you know what I mean, well, how do you think about this? You know, and you told them, and they liked the response they got of you, and then that just led to somebody else, and that just led to somebody else. So we can definitely understand that. But what I'm saying is, um, can you recall a pivotal moment that changed? Because you keep saying that hey, you had a second chance on life. You know, had a second chance on life. So I'm kind of you said it a couple of times now. So I'm kind of, was there a pivotal moment that changed the course of your life to say that you had a second chance on life?
Oh no, like I told you, man, I stopped drinking from one day to the next. I started working on myself, the medication, the depression, the suicide, the 51-52 hole. That was basically my rock bottom right there. And coming out of the, you know, the hospital, like, you know, I was depressed for a while. And like I said, what seemed to save me going to take pictures of all these small businesses. That was kind of like what started medicating me. So that, I think that was kind of like, you know, like, wait a minute, oh, you know, oh shit, people are liking my stuff. Like, oh, you know, I'll go to different places. I'll like, you know, I feel like my I've always been a good, like when I write, I you know, I can get down. So yeah, I started taking pictures, adding captions. People were liking it, commenting, sharing. Then, you know, to the point where, you know, people were like, oh, why don't you vlog? And I'm like, oh, no, I don't read too much. You know, I don't, you know, no, why don't you vlog? You know, why don't you tell the story through a lens? And I was like, wait a minute, okay. So, you know, one day I just pushed myself and I started doing it, and it just felt right. It felt right doing it, and you know, like I said, you know, this is bigger than me. For when people say, oh, the Hoodfoodie, they expect food. But I think it's even beyond food, man. I think it's, you know, like I said, I don't even know like how many messages I get, calls, texts of people like, dude, like, you're so inspiring. The other day, you know, when I was at the hospital, the executive chef, one of the executive chefs at Providence Sinai, like, saw that I was at the hospital, and she went. She's like, oh, you know, it would be an honor for me to meet you. She went, she came through, only to meet me and tell me that I have inspired her to be where she's at right now. She's an executive chef at Providence Sinai, and I get that all the time. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I with a lot of my sponsorships that I've had, like with McDonald's, like I was able to feed 100 healthcare workers at Providence Sinai when you know, when they saved my life from COVID, because I was about to, you know, I was there. Oxygen levels were at 63, irregular heartbeat, blood clogs, infections, to the point where the doctor was like, damn, Canalito, you made it, like, if you're still here. But no, yeah, you know, so yeah, I was able to feed, you know, 100 of the healthcare workers there. So right. it just kind of, it became this thing of like, I mean, I don't know, like, I just started, you know, giving love away and not expecting anything of it, and to only to find myself as one of, like, a leader in the streets, and like, you know, that they don't give that shit just to anybody.
Right.
Like, if for you not to ask, for me not to ask for it, and like, I mean, it's definitely an honor for me, right? Because it's like, damn, like, we must be doing something right.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Perfect.
So it's like, so it just, it's difficult for me to answer that question, because for me, it's never been work. It's never, you know, like, I've always tried to take in the work out of it.
Okay.
But it's been fun. It's been, you know, but like, yeah, like, I think, you know, it was just, you know, yeah, like the whole, when I hit my rock bottom, I was just trying to get out of there, and it seemed like the foodie world was what ended up medicating me from it or saving me from it.
Yeah, that's definitely a second chance he was given, because I know COVID took a lot of loved ones from the world. And it was all of a sudden when it hit. A lot of us was just huddled in the room somewhere. Just panicking almost. Just thinking that you can't even go outside and breathe the air. Because you don't know where this airborne virus is floating around at. But what I want to touch on is what you said is I want to focus on, how was you able to that is either overcome or still struggling with, going through those I know you said you was on big on mental health earlier. I'm not too sure if we was rolling in this exact setting, but the alcoholism and combined with mental health and trying to do that. I've me myself, I can speak on that. I've been, sober and practicing sobriety for about 6 years now.
Yeah,
So, so, and I've been, I'm good. I'm glad to hear somebody else who's either going through it or have you overcame those things, or is that still something that you're struggling with? Is it something that you can speak on right now?
Oh no, yeah, of course. No, like I said, once I was tired, I stopped. From drinking. Like I said, if I would have kept drinking, I would not be here today. So I had to make the decision to just stop drinking. I stopped from one day to the next, never looking back. When it comes to meds, that was before the Hoodfoodie. That was my first episode. My second episode, as you were touching on the COVID at times. I ended up taking different medication because they thought like, oh, maybe you took the wrong medication. So I was like, okay, hey, we always want to better ourselves. Maybe we did take the wrong one. I take medication for the second time, and 5 milligrams of Zoloft or some, I forgot what they were pushing at the time. I went into a 7-month 24/7 depression. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever experienced depression. I can handle 2-3 days. That as hard, as difficult as that is, I can handle three days. But to be depressed for 7 months, 24/7, I thought I was done. Until luckily the 7th month, the shit starts wearing off. I got people already, like podcasters, people that want to put me out there, so I start jumping on podcasts and radio, all kinds of stuff. And I started speaking about my experience with mental health and the whole, the medication and this and that. Oh no, like that shit, you felt the shit just get bigger, because it was at the time where everybody was depressed inside their home, like you were saying, like, trying to stay away from each other. And here I come, everybody's focusing on social media, lives, things like that. And, I start to, like I said, I have no filters, as you will, like, you probably find out already. But,
Okay.
but no, yeah.
Okay, that's good. We always we also like to advocate for mental health on the show too, and that's one of the things that come along with being a business owner, is the responsibility that you have and the mental health, because you got to be aware of what's stressing you out, what's getting you down, and that reflects in your progress as a business owner and how you interact with your customers. And I would definitely say from your videos, you have a handle on it so far. At least when you get out and go through the door, you know what you're about to go do. You got a handle on it. You know what I mean? Because you already know this is fun. You know what I mean? Like you said, you got to enjoy what you're doing. And we can definitely see that you're doing that. And Keith, did you want to speak on anything of this?
Yeah, I was just thinking, the importance of mental health is so it's everybody has their own place in mental health. Everybody deals with it differently. Everybody has a way of experience that. But one of the things that I think about is the family. The wife, the kids, and everybody that's around you. And I know your business is a big part of having an upbeat and being excited about what you're getting ready to do to uplift these businesses and bring them to the forefront. So when you're going through that, do you find yourself having to take a break? Like before you go into a restaurant or talk to somebody, do you regroup? What are some of your things that you do to trigger, to not be triggered in any way?
I can think of right now is as that every room that I walk into like God sent me, and that's where like the fearless comes. Sometimes I don't even know what I'm gonna be doing prior to me getting to a location. I just know that as long as I have fun with it, and I get there, and it's not like I get there and I'm there to shoot the shit with people, have some fun, make it fun for everybody, involve the family, because that's what my brand is all about. I remember in the beginning stages of social Instagram, we would get invited to foodie events, and it was like maybe 10 of us, right? 10 of us, and they would bring out the food, and people would just take pictures and just throw away the food, and I was like, well, wait a minute, we just saw people putting their heart and soul making this food only for the gram. Like it didn't like, I was just like, wait a minute, I don't, that doesn't sound right to me. So then that's when I kind of took it upon to say, you know what, I'm gonna tell the stories behind the scenes. I didn't know that, I was, apparently I'm this charismatic, I do lead with, I'm very cutthroat, but I do lead with my heart, because obviously you guys know, like in this world, this dog eat dog world, and you can only share that energy to the people that allow you to share it with. But
Some we have people that it's a challenge because these are things that you don't normally think about. You know what I mean? You're just kind of this robotically going through life and dealing with your issues until you sit down like, okay, well, let me start thinking about how to fix myself, and how do I conduct business? How am I being seen, in the public eye? You know what I mean? And then it's like a presentation that we put forth towards everybody who's watching, in our audience. And we want that to come across as, some place that they want to go to, or a personality that's likable, that they want to interact and build friendships, if not relationships, business relationships with. And yeah, and I'm glad what you was just saying that right there too, because I want to know through your, I mean, you said you've been doing this for quite some time. You had a lot of sponsors. You're dealing with a lot of people. So who has either maybe a certain specific person or maybe a business who has been the most influential person in your journey that has inspired you to either become a better businessman or even approach what you do in a better way?
I mean, like I said, man, I feel like I owe all my success, not specifically to a person, which I will get to that, but I feel like when I got into social media and people, like I said, people started believing in me, to this day, that's what inspires me. That's one of the things that I use to battle, whatever my depression or whatever I'm going through. I always make sure that I keep my cup half full. But yeah, I want to say that's why Familia is so important to me, because these are people that saw value in me when I didn't see value in myself, and now look how far they've been able to take me just by them inspiring me, like so I have to say my familia, man, my familia. And obviously it starts with my wife, my kids, my biggest fans, my community, everybody out there that's rooting for me, that throws my name out there when in rooms that I'm not even at. You know, just my real ones, and but as far as like one thing that I can remember that I didn't even know this dude like impacted me so much. I don't know if you guys know who Anthony Bourdain is, but you know, he was a
Oh man.
yeah,
Oh
he
my
was
God.
he was a huge personality in the food world, journalism world, and I didn't know how impactful he was to me until the day that my wife was in the restroom and she was like, hey babe, Anthony Bourdain, you know, she passed away, and I was just like, nah, shut up, you're bullshitting, blah blah, like, and damn, like that. See, Anthony, there's only a few people that I've seen that can stop the world, and Anthony Bourdain was definitely one of those people. You know, the world mourned when Anthony Bourdain passed away. So for me, that was so crazy. I even like my sister reached out to me. She's like, "Oh my God, did you hear?" She had seen some segments that he did with like a Range Rover, Land Rover of, you know, little Armenia, little Guatemala, and downtown LA. So I checked out some of the footage. I ended up going to Little Guatemala. I want to say, what's her name? What was her name? Rocio. It was Rocio. She owned a little business in a little food cart, and she did pollo con papas, which is a Guatemala street food, which is like fried chicken, fried fries with mayo, ketchup, and salsa. And it's so crazy because I was like, oh my God, like, oh look, this is you, this is you. She didn't even know. She was, oh yeah, that gentleman was here like about 7 months ago, filming. We didn't even know. She didn't even know what was going on. But I remember going to one of the murals, and I was talking out of my ass, man. I talk out of my ass, and sometimes the shit just manifests. I don't know, but I remember standing in front of one of his murals that somebody did for him, and I was like, you know what? I appreciate you for being a mental health advocate. You're always speaking on depression, bringing awareness to that. And I said, I promise you that I will try to keep your legacy alive. And I don't know how much truth that is today, but like, I know some people were like, oh, the Latino Anthony Bourdain or whatever. I'm like, no. Anthony Bourdain is Anthony Bourdain. I would never want to be Anthony Bourdain. You know what I'm saying? I can't be Anthony Bourdain. You know, I'm me. But I mean, it's kind of, like, if you want to speak about a person, Anthony Bourdain was the one that I was just like, oh shit, like this dude inspires me. I didn't even know it.
I'm not familiar with him. Did you knew him?
No,
Anthony Bourdain was one of the greatest, just natural person. You know, he was well liked. He traveled overseas. He did he tried all kinds of foods, drinks, all types of things, even getting tattoos, whether he was in the Philippines or wherever he rode out to the places in the middle of nowhere to try their food. And when Anthony Bourdain died, I was devastated because it was, the food industry. A little bit later, I'll tell you too. I just love the guy because I used to watch his show and all of the different things. So if that's someone that you see as a person to have an influence on you, that's a guy. That's the guy that does that.
No, it's
powerful, man, powerful guy.
No, yeah. So yeah, it was kind of like, oh yeah, so. I don't know. I don't know. It seems like I'm kind of running the same way. I mean, obviously, I'm not. I don't get into politics. Is that I'm far from politics, but doing what I do and just being a good person and I know sometimes I'll get to places and people are like, shaking their legs like, oh my God, yeah, we saw you driving up. And I'm like, why? I'm here to shoot the shit and eat some tacos. Like, I ain't nobody special. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I said, it's more like me creating relationships with the people that allow me. And by doing this for the, past 10, 12 years now, imagine how many seeds we've planted. Like my dad always told me, he was like, yeah, you know what? Rome wasn't built in one day. Not knowing that I was building Rome brick by brick, creating all these relationships that now they don't allow me to fail. And there was a time where I was like, chill, like, my wife would tell me like, oh yeah, like you cut this person off, you cut that person off. And I'm like, babe, like they did me wrong. Why would I extend my hand again when they did me wrong? Like, I don't see the principle of that. Right. So obviously it would get in my head like, shit, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Like, shit, what am I doing? Like, yeah, like I did lose these people, and for me, I could care less about the fame, the fucking status, like all that shit. Like, inspire me by fucking, showing me how you are with people. Like, so I don't care if you're like the biggest or the smallest. Like, if you treat me a certain way, and I don't, like, I don't like, obviously if I feel like you're going to do it to my people, like, that's why at this point, I don't reach out to people. I wait for them to come to me. Why? Because it's easier to just cut them off. I don't commit at this point. You know what I'm saying? Before I would commit, like, but now it's just more like, like I'm out here showing love to the world. Like, I know, I love my Latin community and everything, but, I feel like God has me showing love to the world. Like, I don't, I mean, and it's, he hasn't failed me. The shit's just getting bigger. We're getting more out there. The connections are getting bigger. I feel like more people are like, oh shit, like he is who he says he is. Like, let's help him out, So perfect example right here, my boy. So
Right. That's always important too, man. I'm glad you said it that way too, because you actually hit on two key points that we have been hearing. One is when you said earlier, when some people are not going to be in your corner. They could be family and all that stuff, but you can't. It's a self-motivated type of thing. You can't always say, hey, I'm doing this, and everybody's just going to rally in behind you. They're doing their own thing and they're living your life. It's your decision to do this business and do what you're doing. And then mentioning how people are also the more important thing. A lot of people I ain't gonna say a lot of people. I'm gonna say a lot of social media people are so geared up on numbers. They're so geared up on. I was looking through a lot of the Instagram stuff right now, and sometimes we look at other people's content and see what they're doing, but there's always that percentage of people that it seems like you have one thing that's catching on, and next thing you know, you have 10 people doing the same type of comedy, or they're doing the same kind of brand as somebody else. It's like a lot of things don't have that originality anymore. It doesn't have that own thought process of what you're doing, and that could be the same thing as music or anything. Okay, so we're saying you're doing the same thing. Okay, music is music, or podcasting is podcast. But what are you doing that's different than the other person? Are you doing it differently? Are you reaching a different kind of audience in a different kind of way? Are you helping back in the community, or are you just trying to do the exact same thing else because you've seen that they had numbers doing that? So you're trying to get your numbers up, and and I guess it works for some people, but that's not what always is important to everybody. The communications, the networking, the fun that we have talking to you guys and stuff like that, introducing businesses, that's more important. We want people to see the podcast. We want them to subscribe. We want them to follow. We want all that thing. But even besides all that, we're still on the move. We're still interviewing. We're still going. Just because something don't hit, or two or three don't hit, we still keep it going. We still push ahead. And it seems like a lot of times, that is sounding like how you're saying. It's just like, hey, this is fun for me. If you're gonna let me go in here and give you that little taste thing, you're gonna let me make the post, then we're gonna do that. But I'm not gonna be chasing you guys down and be like, hey, please, come on the show. You know what I mean? We're gonna ask you once or twice, you know what I mean? Then we're gonna try to connect with you. If you don't want to connect, that's fine. Because a lot of people are doing that. So I could applaud you on that mental note that you're having right there, because a lot of times people stress themselves and they run themselves into the dirt, and that's why a lot of businesses fail, because you're worried about other things instead of the joy. You may forget about the joy that the business is giving you, versus saying, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Keith, did you have something?
A couple of things I like to know. What's the regular day for you? When you wake up, how does how you get out there, man? What is that? That smile? And I see you on Instagram, and I see you in the car. How do you got all of that going on, man? How does that day go, man? You just wake up with that energy and put it in there, or is it still based on who you are?
Is that Monday through Fridays or my weekends? Because I'm a parts delivery driver by day, superhero by night. No. I mean, at this point, like I said, I've been in the game for a minute. I don't reach out to people because, or I just don't show up, because I found myself that not a lot of as many people that are out there that love me. Trust me, there's some that that there's something about me, but that's on them. That's not me.
I see you on Instagram. When I talked to you, you were in the truck, man. I was like, he's in the truck doing a live show. Like, where's he at? He just pulled over on the side of the road and said, it's the time. Then I saw you in the car. And I like the way you
that's what it is. That's what it is. People reach out to me, and I'm not gonna lie. I don't like I'm gonna do this. Like, I don't have a schedule. It's more like it goes back to the feel. Like, it has to feel right. So like, oh yeah, like, and I do, I do have this thing where like I kind of look how people move, and like if you're somebody that just sends me posts or things like that, and like obviously you want me to do something with it, right? You either want me to like it, you want me to comment, you want me to repost it. But at the end of the day, I am a small business, right? So I'm like, okay, well, it's so funny, right? Like, there's only like maybe less than a handful that will actually reach out to me to ask me what I need or what I want, if I need anything, right? So when when you come and you're like, oh, it kind of just seems like a take. I mean, obviously that for me, that's kind of already telling.
A lot of things we do, people have never even really started to sit down and think about in their mind. And that's the difference between what Razak is talking about, other podcasts, what we do.
Yeah.
Really, you're talking about a lot of different subject matters, and we're trying to pull these different things out because, you never know. You're like, man, I haven't thought about that in a while. Man, what the heck what's going on? So it takes a little bit, but that's okay, But one of the other things I like to talk about is you're in the small business, man. You're out there looking at a lot of small business. What are some of the things that you could talk about as, you being out there seeing these small business struggle to be able to, spend their money sometimes, you go to some that are small, some of them that are big. What are some of the things you can talk about to give others, restaurants or other small businesses that are out there, advice on from what you see?
Make sure that whatever you do, you better fucking love the shit. Like, you better like love it, because it definitely comes with its territory. Like anything in life, nothing's gonna come for free. Everything's work. But yeah, it's definitely got to be something, because yeah, there's been many times that I've thrown in the towel. Like why am I doing this still? Like, I'm, obviously at the moment I was like, yeah, I ain't benefiting from this. It seems like I'm just giving, and like, why am I even doing this? Obviously, that's when, like, sometimes when the mental health kicks in, the whole bipolar depression. That's kind of what my battles kind of look like. Like, I throw in the towel, and I feel like God's like, nah, man, this is you. This is all you know. So I mean, either you do it and fail, or you try and, you know, and you fail. Either one, either one. But no, yeah, you know, you have to love what you do. You have to love what you do. That's why, I mean, it's easier said than done to be like, oh yeah, like, you know, find something that you love. Like, I know, I get it. It's not as easy. I mean, for me, it came to me, right? But I know for the normal person, I mean, yeah, I mean, because I was there too. I was like, that shit can't happen to me. Like, nothing right can happen to me. Like, I was in a dark place where I thought I was done. Like, I was done. Like, then I was like, dude, like, you know, I was too hard on myself. Like, dude, like, I can't believe you didn't fucking make nothing out of yourself. I can't believe it. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
But
you know,
in my back of my mind, I always felt that I had that chip in, like, that. No, I'm destined for something. I'm fucking destined for something. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it. But then this shit, it happens, and I'm like, okay, so then this is what I'm supposed to do.
well, you know, we're happy that you're here, man, because everything that you've been doing, brother, everything that I've been seeing is just you spreading joy, you spreading happiness, you're uplifting people, man. You out there, you know, like you said, you're happy to be here and showing that off with all of the different, you know, events you go to, all of the different restaurants you go to, the people you talk to. You're showing them that real life, you know, and accepting that, you know, and being like, hey, this is who I am, excited to be here. And, you know, that uplifts people because that, you know, when you're smiling and you're like talking and you show them, you know, this is what it's about, man, that's stuff that everybody be like, I want some of that. You know, what can I do to get some of that feeling and everything like that? So I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for doing that. I'm proud of you for being out there.
Yeah,
So stay on that. So let me ask you a little bit about not necessarily life. What is one of the legacies you want to leave behind in this business that you're doing, and along for your kids and, you know, the family? What are you looking? What type of legacy you see yourself leaving now that you like been reborn, you know, so to speak?
like I said, yeah, well, no, you know what? I ain't gonna lie, it's not so much of my legacy, right? That is important to me. I think it's more, you know, if you know, whenever the day comes that, you know, I take my last breath, um, I just hope people can take care of my family the way that I took care of everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Legacy for me, it's like I said, I don't even know what I'm doing, man. It just, you know, it's fun for me. I love it. You know, I'm definitely honored. You know, with my familia, like the kind words that, like, for me, that already for me is a win. Like, you know, the words that they use for me, the way that they put me out there. But for me, honestly, like, it's not so much the legacy. It's more, I hope that my family gets taken care of like I took care of all these families throughout the years. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's all I ask for. That's what I want my legacy to be. You know.
Well, that's good, man. You know, passing it along and making sure that people can, you know, see what you've done for others, and you know, they can take something from that and pass it along and taking care of something for someone else, whether it's your family or someone else. It's just passing that along. So let's talk about something a little bit more happier along your line. What you doing for your hobbies out there, man? What are you doing to stay? You know, are you out there surfing or what? So
No, man, it's like I said, man. Huh? No, like I said, you know, I either, you know, I have my 9 to 5, or you know, I got the business, or if not, I got the kids. So, you know, I don't want to say it's a hobby, you know, but as much as I'm out there in the community, spending time in the streets and things like that, you know, so, you know, something that brings me so much joy. Also, just being home with my wife, my kids, you know, Gigi girl, our little Yorkie, just being a dad. I think that just being a dad, you know, husband, going out to Universal, just having a fun day, always planning things with the kids. Every time I drop them off at school, I tell both of them, like, work hard, and they'll always respond, play hard, because I want to make sure, for me, it was, I don't know, I guess it's the whole thing of not wanting them to grow up the way you did. I mean, but obviously I'm not trying to change that. I think it goes back to, like, be yourself and inspire people. I think just be myself, trying to be the best dad that I can be. They inspire me every day. Xavier has autism. He's diagnosed with high functioning autistic, but I'm the dude, man. Like, since day one, man, he's been inspiring us. Apparently, he was not supposed to be able to hear loud noise and all this, and like we just let him go wild. And now the dude's blossoming. He's about to turn 16, and he's such an independent boy. Juju, my youngest, he's a natural, man. He's an actor, producer, singer. Oh no, the dude can do it all, man. Watch out for him. But yeah, I spending time with my wife and kids, and a little Yorkie. I think that's kind of like my way to kind of regroup, but I honestly, I can't say that, because even the streets, man, like they both medicate me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they both bring me joy. They both, I love being in the streets and just shooting the shit with people, like hanging out with them. It's not so much like it. Like I said, it doesn't feel like work. I'm just there, like, we're shooting the shit. We're inspiring each other. We're crying. We're laughing. Like, I am there. Like, I'm there to give all of myself. And like I said, it's yeah, just building those relationships. I mean, damn, but yeah, they both bring me so much joy. It's just, what I'm saying. So, but yeah, like, I love spending time with the fam bam.
Well, that's important, man. That's one of the things that we live for, is to be able to share our experiences with our kids, and not shield them for some of the things that we know is going to be hard in their life and stuff like that. So you said one of your kids is you know um, have an issue that you're working with, and you're surprised about all of the things that he can do. Can you talk a little bit about how you deal with that, and also how what you could say to other parents out there that are working through that, and some of the things you've learned?
You know what? In the beginning, it was difficult for both of us as parents. I know a little bit more with my wife, but um, no, I mean, it's you just. I feel for us, we just adopted quick. It was our son. We couldn't. Yeah. I mean, as parents, we had a mission to make sure that we made him feel as independent as possible, and we always throw him in the water, threw him in the water, making sure that he knew that we were always going to be his safety net. And I mean, just, like I said, I was having my own issues, so I was kind of lost, for a lot of, his younger years. But with the whole transition of, like, me finding myself, me loving myself, I not even trying. I started. I believe it started inspiring him, and now, like, like I said, he's about to turn 16. He started, drawing comic books, and then got into the iPad, and now he does cartoon animations with, like, he produces basically a cartoon animation, and I'm talking about, like, Disney level kind of animation. So, you just, yeah, I mean, there's no blueprint. You know what I'm saying? There is no blueprint of how to be a parent. I mean, if not, I think we would all have it handled. I believe it's just more, letting life teach you as you go. Obviously, like, that's very important. But I think everybody has to cater to their own situation for us, like I said, for me, like, I've been so disconnected to the world, to everything. So maybe I didn't see it as much as maybe like my wife did, where she was maybe more focused on it. But I feel like just doing what I've been doing and working on myself, and I've been able, I've been able to kind of heal him in some way, and like I said, it goes, back and forth. Like, as much as he, I inspire him, he also inspires me. One of our mottos is can't stop, won't stop. Familia for life. What does that mean to me? Is that regardless of how bad it gets, how crazy the obstacles in front of us are, we don't stop. We don't stop, and he is a prime example that he doesn't stop, man. He it's crazy because as a little kid, he would always take his mom's phone, and I would always catch him like watching my skits on YouTube. And so one day he was just like, "Hey Dad, I want to do a video of the smash burger." And I was like, "What? Like, where did this come from?" Let me tell you, man, I put the camera in front of him, and the dude was a natural. Like, he must have studied me so well. Like there were so many little feet, like little things that just like, wait a minute, that's me. That's exactly me. Like, like he mirror imaged like my personality, my persona, like, and not knowing that he was putting all that together, like, so yeah, it's how to handle it, like, damn, like, I think we all got to kind of experience it ourselves to kind of like fall if we need to, and then get up and learn from it. Or I don't know, I think that's in general in life. I think I was talking to somebody earlier today, and it's just like, I feel like he's afraid to fail, and it's like, dude, you gotta start failing. Like, if you don't fail, you're not gonna learn. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like let go. But whenever you're ready, whenever you are ready, because obviously you can't push people that are not ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got nature, you gotta let nature take its course. I know that was kind of something for me too, where like people always like, oh yeah, do this, do that, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. I think I just need to fucking experience this shit for me to know what I'm dealing with, and hey, how many times have I failed? You know what I'm saying? Like, I welcome failure at this point, failure basically. So kind of it goes back to like how many shots did Kobe have to miss to have the career that he had? Like, you know what I'm saying? That, I think that's one of the best metaphors that we can use. Like, Kobe, like, you know what I'm saying? Like the more you fail, the more you learn. Now, if you don't learn from that, well, that's on you. But yeah, yeah. I mean, to sum up the question, I mean, just yeah, man. Just there's no blueprint. Just I think we're just programmed to do as best as we can.
Right.
Well, that's real, man. That's real, authentic, and honest, because that's all we can really do is taking one step at a time, And Razak has a few questions for you, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead, Razak.
I was wondering all this time, like when you had mentioned it earlier a little while ago, is how do you stay connected with all these food events? What I mean, what is the method to stay consistent? Okay, I know you said you might kind of pull back the reins a little bit now, but you still have those connections. I'm assuming. How do you connect with these food vendors or well, not I guess the food vendors, but maybe the promoters to always be at the right scene to do these videos, or always be meeting new business owners or new food business owners?
It's it goes back to being different, right? When I meet people, like I said, I always extend the olive branch. Like, I'm always like, hey, in honor, fam, blah blah blah, this and that. Like, obviously, because they meet me, they follow me. Like, obviously that just shows me that they want to be connected. So for me, it's an honor. But just being different, you know, I a lot of these people that I deal with, and you know, like especially with like the bigger brands, like, you know, everybody, you know, like, you know, yeah, and yes, I do connect with, you know, social media influencers, blah blah blah. But to me, it's more connecting with like the, you know, the PR people, the corporate people, you know, showing them my personality, and you know, I always, you know, there's this thing I do. Well, not it comes, it's organic, but like, you know, I'll reach out to somebody, and I'll be like, hey, you know what? It's definitely an honor, but I'm not. Thank you for your opportunity. It truly means the world to me. You know, do you believe in me? Um, and whatever you need from me, I got you. Right now,
Right.
how many people do you think reach out to them and just want? When
Right.
there's somebody come, you know, and then they're like, you don't think that there's an impact when they're like, you know, like, because I'm pretty sure that I don't got much. I'm pretty sure they know that I don't got much. But for me to be like, shit, whatever you need from me, I got you. It's just, you know, I think it's making people comfortable, making, you know, like, I mean, shit, how many people I've met in seconds, and they're like, dude, like, I feel like I've met you, and I know you for years. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's the personality, the charisma, whatever they say that I have, you know, but um, I know that my dad was always a person that never like really discriminated. He was friends with, you know, with everybody, you know, anybody that it would like, you know, he had, you know, 10-year-old friends to fucking 90-year-old friends and everything in between. Like, he never saw anybody above or below anybody. So I think that's where I get his personality. Also the morals and the principles, that's from him. I know one of the stories that my brother always tells me, that, you know, my dad used to own a business. His boy, you know, wanted to, you know, cut corners. My older brother was all about it. And my dad whipped the shit out of my brother, and you know, he basically told his boys, like, you know what, either we do it right or we don't do it at all. And I feel like that's where I've gotten my principles and morals from my dad, to where, like, not knowingly, like, even when creating these relationships, like, you know, like, I make people comfortable around me, and they know they can trust me. Like, I'm not here to fucking, you know, fuck anybody over. I'm actually here to fucking just, you know, uplift everybody, or who wants to, who's coming with this, you know, like, you know, whoever, you know, whoever's anybody's game. And I think, yeah, it's just, you know, it's being different. You got to be different. You got to stand
Yeah.
out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, dude, the other day I had the daughter of the founder of Carl's Jr.'s hit me up, and I'm like, what you talking? What? Like, no, dude,
Yeah.
yeah, there's been some, like, what people don't understand, that my network it's all over the place, man. From influencers to media to sports to, oh no, like, you know, like, but I'm also a person that I don't like to ask for favors, because I don't like to owe people. But
Okay.
when I'm ready to pull the trigger, like, people are there.
Right.
But
That's, that's
there's no reason. There's no. I always tell my boy, I'm like, I don't know where I got where I saw this or something, or somebody was trying to flex on me, and I don't know. I was just thinking, like, oh no, I can flex, but I choose not to. So humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, you know, like, it just, yeah, it just, like I said, for me, it's I can care less about the numbers. I can care about the status. Like, what that's not bringing, you know, money to my table. Like, I can't support the small businesses with that. So it's like, it has no value to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
awesome.
how many big influencers did I have? Because it just, like you said, like, they're not, it's not, I mean, the front shows one person, but then once you meet them in person, it's like, it's like a whole different person that, I mean, yeah, it's like you know, you try to create a relationship, but like I said, you don't force this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, that's already telling if they don't want to, communicate with you, or you tell them like, hey, let's go eat, and fucking they just leave you on scene. Like, you don't need that shit.
Right.
You don't need. You cut off all the outside noise. You cut off. You cut off all the people that that don't believe in you. That it feels forced, and then you just concentrate on the people that make you feel right, man. And I'm telling you, damn, I feel like I'm walking on top of water, type of shit. Like,
shoot, you are, man. When you talking about, you slow down. You don't want me to have to pull my strings. I know I got some strings I can pull, but just, man, you don't want me to have to do this to you. So just
like I said, bless.
Real quick, humble yourself.
Man.
That's good to know, man, because that's one of the things that is about your character. So it tells you tell us what kind of person you are. That when just a quick result, when he just talked about the important part of the small business community, you want to that's where the real root is in your business is helping them and dealing with them, because those are the ones that are really looking to be uplifted. And if you're doing that, man, that is great. And again, we support you 100%, because I know that's what I see you doing. So I'm going to step out of the conversation, but I wanted to throw that in there from the boy.
I appreciate you, Canalito. Appreciate just putting my part, man.
Yeah.
This we haven't touched on this. Now let's get down to it. We've been talking. We got to know you a little bit. You know what I mean? So who was the either best? We got two things. Who was the best one so far that you can just like it was a memorable, funny time. You went there and you was like, oh man, this is a story I can always tell. And who was the worst guy that you can go in there and always tell, like, oh man, these people, they add either the food or the treatment, that what was the ups and downs to being the hood foodie guy?
I mean, obviously the downs is just having to deal with a lot of the personalities. When I got into the game, when obviously when Instagram first started, there was not a lot of Latinos. It was more Caucasian and Asian, and yeah, it's so funny when like I found somebody brown like me. I was like, oh shit, like, oh, Latinos, like so they received me and this and that, and but only to just to get fucked over basically by my own people type of shit, and just I think most of the whole journey, like I said, I know too much. The streets the streets know me. They feel safe with me, you know what I'm saying? But just having to deal with certain personalities out there that were doing it for the wrong purpose. I didn't know. I've never known how to battle that, because obviously you guys know with social media, I mean, people can get canceled right away. So I was just kind of more focused on like, you know what, this is what I'm doing. I'm just gonna protect my people. Whoever wants to ride with me, that's who I'm gonna ride with. And like, we're gonna take this, and we're gonna take this as far as we can. But yeah, man, just having to deal with certain personalities throughout the years. That did it for the wrong purposes, because I mean, shit, man, like, I mean, I know people out there, like, especially in the beginning stages, there was a lot of like, fake followers bought and things like that. And I was in a position where like, somebody got caught and I was the first one there, and obviously everybody wanted my throne type of thing. But I ended up fucking giving it away, because it got to the point where it was beyond my principles and morals. Let's just put it that way. Like, it was not about me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there was just shit going on that I knew too much, and I didn't want to be a part of it. And they could fucking have their motherfucking throne. I don't give. Yeah. But no, there's definitely a lot of stories. But the best, I mean, honestly, like the best thing about this is just being able to form so many relationships with people. Like, yeah, like when you like has and nobody's like really ever treated me bad, because I feel like everybody has always reached out to me, right? I mean, there could have been like one or two people that might have reached out, and like I show up, and no, actually, maybe a few, maybe a few people that I would show up, and obviously it was just like, Instagram, social media communication. I would show up, and like the people working there, like, who the fuck are you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like who are you? Like, so obviously that was always like, what the, like, really? Like, so like there's no communication, blah blah. Um, but no, yeah, I want to say that those are kind of like the pros and the cons of that come with the territory.
I heard that. Okay, so you were just mentioning competition, because that's the other thing I don't think we actually asked that too. Is there a actual competition that goes on? Well, you said, well, I guess so, because somebody's going chasing after the throne and stuff like that. So, do you see yourself as being okay? So you were more of an originator who started doing this, and now you see these other people starting to do it. Do you see that there are like not being authentic in the way that they're representing the businesses, as far as you're going there, you're having fun, you're doing this, or does it seem like they're and this just in your own opinion, I mean, what you've
Oh yeah.
experienced, of what you have seen the other people do, that's so far away and beyond, like you said, their principles, their morals or values is like, teetering on more destructive versus having fun and the uplifting and promoting the people that they're going to eat the food from?
For me, like I said, man, I think one of the formulas to success, I mean, that has worked for me, is just cutting off all the outside noise. What do I mean by that? Like, why am I gonna waste energy on those people, right? Like, I also got to understand that Superman wasn't at all places at one time. Like, he couldn't, right? So you could only do as much as you can. Like, people are gonna follow whoever they're gonna follow, and this and that, and obviously the streets know who's who, who's real, who's fake. Um, but for me, it was just, for me, it's been cut off all the outside noise. Why am I gonna even like concentrate on that bad energy, right? Like, they're gonna keep doing them, like, and I'm not gonna be able to stop any of them. Obviously at this point, everybody's doing their thing. I just need to focus on what I'm doing, building my community, whoever allows me in. So at this point, like, yeah, years ago, it would break my head, like, oh, this mother, like, oh, this dude, blah blah blah, this blah blah blah, and but then you get older, you just start protecting your peace more. You just want more zen, and you just start, like I said, you stop focusing on the outside noise, and so yeah, man, I mean, yeah, I mean, at this point, for me, I could care less about the throne, man.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
but yeah,
that's a good answer.
I hope it answers your question, because I know it's kind of.
No. Yeah. That was a good answer. That was a good answer. Let me ask you this real quick, because I'm not too sure if we touched on this either. Where do you see the brand and the business of the Hoodfoodie in the near future? What aspirations do you have as far as building the business in the near future?
Like I mentioned earlier, it started like a little ball, and then the whole snowball effect, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. This is definitely, God driven. At this point, people will ask me, like, what's your 5-year plan? Blah, 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 blah. Sometimes I can't even plan a week, because it always detours on me, so I'm writing it. But, I do have a strong connection with, God, and I don't know, that I always get these thoughts, or some, or like I said, I talk out of my ass, or just things like that, and shit that manifests, right? But something told me in my heart the other day that, that the world was gonna get to know who the Hoodfoodie is. I don't know how true that is. You know, I don't know how, like I said, yeah, I don't know how realistic that is, but he hasn't failed me yet. But yeah, you know, the way that things are going, you know, I've been guerrilla marketing for so many years, not knowing what, you know, like I said, I'm not all there. So like I've been trying to create this brand with the little that I've had. And now I feel like I'm being connected with people that complete me basically. So you know, I got my boy Marcus Hood that's helping me out with the whole branding. You know, the you know, taking this to the next level, more commercial, more corporate level type of thing. We're actually in the works of putting together a clothing line. Our first drop is gonna hopefully in these next couple weeks, and it's not gonna be my face on it this time. Like I said, I think we're bypassed the promotional part of the brand. Now I wanted to, you know, drop a clothing line that you know, there was a connection with the people that were supporting me, my familia. You know, so I feel like the first drop that's gonna happen, I think it's people are yeah, man, it's definitely coming from the heart. It's something to do with Familia, and yeah, man, you can definitely, you know, take it to you know, some of your favorite sporting events. You know, matching you know, gear to, you know, to represent the Familia. Um, but no, yeah, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. You know, the brands, right? Like what was it, 3 years, like 3 years ago or 2 years, yeah, 3 years ago, I beginning of the year, I started thinking to myself like, damn man, like, you know, I want to work with as many, you know, brands, you know, out there. I want to try to involve my family into it. You know, I want to, you know, try to put together like a show now and this and that, and I mean, I think I've worked with like 40 of the biggest brands in the world. You know, my family, I have fun. You know, one thing is me doing this, you know, something that I love, but for me to be able to do it with my family, my kids, I always, you know, I make sure that I give them a platform too, so they can inspire their community. You know, with Xavier, obviously, I always put, you know, hashtag I love somebody with autism. Um, you know, just, you know, my wife, you know, she's all about it. You know, you definitely need a strong support system. If you get, you know, if you know, you know, like, you know, if you don't have a good support system, it is that much more difficult to follow your dreams. Let me tell you that. So, you know, I've been fortunate that my wife has been my rock. She, you know, she's been there. I mean, shit, I ain't gonna lie, man, she's been through a lot, you know, so for her to still be here, damn, my respects. But yeah, man.
Yeah, that was good. That's good. Let me ask you one more question, man, and we'll get into our closing and stuff like that, and see if we want to go through the site, because I mean, you're kind of really after going through the site, we could kind of really just probably pick anything, you know what I mean, on there, because you're eating different people, but we'll see who you want to select to put on there. And I want to let me ask you this real quick, and this is more of a for everybody who's listening, and this would be more potentially for your opinion of what you want to get out. So when it comes to mental health, when it comes to a child with autism, with you having a mental bipolarness, depression, and all that stuff, what would you like to say in the how should I say? Okay, so can you give us a pitch of your opinion of your thoughts on what other people need to be aware of as far as these illnesses? You know what I mean? Like if what do they need to know about these illnesses, and how important it is for them to know the signs and the treatment of it, and what it takes to live with it.
Um, I mean, the signs. I mean, you definitely want to look for the signs. I mean, what specific signs? I mean, I don't. I with me, it was always more. I found myself like closed in a room, you know, and I didn't. You know, obviously, you know, your self confidence, you know, goes out the door or window or whatever. So yeah, you know, I know people like would tell me like, oh yeah, you know, reach out to me whenever you need help. But when you're depressed, like, yeah, there's I don't think about reaching out to people, but I mean, it's very important, especially like, you know, for us, you know, me, Latino, that I grew up in a Latino community. I mean, I can't fault my parents for not knowing, because I think it was not even a topic, you know, back in their days. You know, for us, it was more like, oh yeah, you know, you know, you feel bad, you know, drink a 7 Up or put some bakes on it or something like that, you know. But so basically, just, you know, um just learning about it, you know, learning about it, because I ain't gonna lie, man, like you would be surprised of how many people go through depression. I did, like I said, when I came out, when I came back from my second depression episode, the 7 month 24/7, and I was speaking about it, I didn't know how many people I was impacting. I would stop at like food trucks, restaurants, and I remember one day, you know, one of the wives came to me, and he, you know, she was like, "Oh my God, you know, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for, you know, speaking on mental health, and you know, because we experienced it. My mom had a bad depression, and we went through it, and we know you know, what you're dealing with, and this and that, and you know, so I think it's kind of educating yourself about it, you know, like, you know, and um, but damn, like it's crazy, because for me, like I said, you know, I the initial route was by me taking medication, which obviously that didn't work, right? I'll never, I don't think I'll ever try to take medication again, because I don't got 7 months to fucking lose. Like, I don't, you know. So only to find out that by me finding something that I love, you know, something that inspires me, you know, this the Hoodfoodie thing, like by me being in the streets, that's my medication, you know. Have I had, you know, do I still go through depression? I mean, so it doesn't, it feels like I don't, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I want to say like 2 months ago I had like a light depression, thinking like, oh shit, they're still around, like, you know, like I mean, obviously I'm not gonna get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way that I'm gonna get rid of bipolar depression just from one day to the next. But what I always try to do is, you know, like I said, I always try to look at the cup always half full, with optimism. Even you know, when it definitely gets, it can get pretty hard to believe in positivity. You know, just, you know, having optimism, finding something that you're passionate about, that you love, to kind of like keep you distracted, and I mean, yeah, like I said, I mean, that's basically what's worked for me. um I don't get the depression like before, but I mean, it's minimal. I can deal with it, and but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, what like I said, what medicates me is the love that you know, my familia has for me. That just like, yeah, that I don't need meds no more. I don't. So um shit. I mean, yeah, kind of same thing. You know, it's difficult. It's difficult, you know, because, you know, you don't know. Like, I don't want to say the wrong things here. I can only speak my truth, in hopes that, you know, people you know, take it and run with it, and you know, and you know, try to use the formula. And hey, you never know. What about if it does work? You know, like it's gonna be a plus. Um, but yeah, it's just, you know, um, yeah, that's
So, were there certain things going on in life, or around you that would say, "Hey, you know, what I mean, I'm feeling this way. and now I want to go and kind of it's coming on. You know, like when like something overcomes you, like when you get sad or something. You know, I mean, something happened for you to get sad, or some kind of thoughts was going on with that you got sad. Is there any just ever so briefly some things that you can touch on and say that this is what you've seen occurring within yourself, that way, because you recognize it. So you know you've been fighting against it so long that you recognize what's going on. That's what they call it, some triggers. You know what I mean? So you should you know what are some triggers or some signs, that's what I mean by signs, like, you know what I mean, that people may need to watch out for, because it got so bad that you know me, you was suicidal in a sense. So what I'm talking in that sense, what are some triggers or some difficulties that may happen where people, you can say, hey, if somebody's going through this, whether they say it or not, this is most likely what's going on.
Yeah, you know, because the thing is, I never really focused on what the trigger, or like I said, I've been always so disconnected that it's like, you know, like I never kind of thought of looking at the triggers, because obviously at the time I didn't know what I was dealing with. Sometimes all I remember is that, you know, it would be from like one minute to the next. You know, I wouldn't, you know, have self-confidence. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't think too much of myself. I was really bad. You know, I was really, really hard on myself. What else? What else? Like I said, yeah, I felt like, you know, I was in a room of four walls and I couldn't get out. What else? Yeah, I mean, I think those are like the main, you know, reactions that I had. But like I said, once you were in the depression, like, you don't think shit. You're experiencing the depression. Like, you know, there's no way out, basically.
Right. Right. Yeah, you know, there was a couple of times I had discussions with people, and I throw around that expression of, like, I feeling depressed, you know what I mean? But it's a real illness for people. You know, it's a real condition for some people that actually go spiral into a in-depth type of, you know what I mean, that their everything changes for them. You know, mine, I know that I'm aware of things that are around me that's occurring. You know, it may be a helplessness that you're feeling. It may be just an overwhelming sense that, you know, I mean, things are going out of your control, and you're trying to control it, and then the attempt to control it. You know what I mean? Your what they call it, anxiety is building up. You know what I mean? Stress. You know, you're overthinking everything. You know what I mean? So, you know, I know in those times that, you know what I mean, that I know that, you know, something's coming on, you know what I mean, some kind of mood change is happening, you know what I mean, where I try to be lively and interactive on other times. And there's times where you just want to sit back and like, what's going on? You know, nothing's going on. I'm just sitting in the room, you know, like, damn, you've been in the room for hours. Like, you know, what's going on? You gonna come out? You know, so it's like you know, so it's like in those times, you know, that something's going on. You may have to, you know, distance yourself maybe from the house or from the people you're around, and gather other inspiration, you know. And I'm thinking that's when you say about the Hoodfoodie business that you made up and that you guys created, that is what it does for you. You know what I mean? When those times are coming on, you're like, hey, I gotta go do an event. I gotta go talk to some people, because now that one interaction can lift your spirits for a couple of days. You know what I mean? Because it's a lingering effect when you have some good times. You're thinking about it, you know, feedback and stuff like that. So I would like to thank you for, you know, expressing that and sharing that with our audience.
Well, you know, man, this is awesome. I am so excited because, you know, I'm excited because two men talking about something men don't talk about. You know, a lot of men out there are feeling and been through this and have their own way of feeling with it. But when we're honest and real about ourselves and talk about these things, you just don't know who you will be able to, you know, helping out there, or other people, whether it's the person that's seen it every day but don't know exactly what's going on with their partner or their friend or whoever it is. So I really thank you for talking about that, man. I really thank you for laying down that foundation of, about yourself. And that, that takes a strong man. That takes someone that has either, been through something where they know the other side, or, someone that has learned something about themselves. And that's, that's something to be proud of, because that takes strength. That takes someone with strength to be able to, think about that. And I know this show is not, designed for that, but our conversation as men and talking about business and talking about the things that we go through, all of that's a part of our who we are. All of that's a part about the business. And so when you take the time to do that and share with our audience, it's big. It's real big, man. That's powerful stuff. And you know what? You're about your family, and this is the hood foodie guy, This guy is no joke, man. He comes with all of it, not just a little bit. He's come to the roof with everything, man. You gotta love this guy. So I can't do his voice, but I'm like his son. I'm trying. I'm trying to get all of that out, man. But you know what? I like to ask you something else before we go. Can you just talk about some things that maybe we haven't talked about regarding your business, some things that you want to get out there to the public? I know you do a lot of, you're on Instagram and stuff like that. You're out there, man. You have a lot of people that have been sponsoring you and things like that. They're going to hear this and, be real happy that you've been honest. So talk about some things that you like to get out.
I just wrote a disclaimer. I put out a disclaimer because, like I said, I feel social media paints a picture that's not reality, and so I get tons of people, even people that can actually help the movement, reach out to me. Hey, I would love to collaborate, and I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I am a small business myself. I've been since day one. I've been supporting small businesses, struggling myself sometimes to this day. So obviously I put out the disclaimer, letting people know that yes, I am a small business. So whenever you bug me, whenever you sponsor me, whenever you purchase my my merch, know that you will be helping me put food on my table, but not only that, helping so many small businesses in a hood near you. So yeah, just I want to make sure that people do understand that I am a small business. So I've been putting my part. I've been doing this for the past 10, 12 years. No questions asked. Like I said, sometimes dragging my family with me. So yeah, man, I always say that my mission statement has always been, the bigger that I can get, the more that I can help out without hesitation. Because like I said, man, I'm still hood, man. So imagine me getting the support, how many people, I would be able to take care of. But like I said, that's not anybody's responsibility but myself. I leave it all in Diosito's hands. Like, it's his, it's definitely God's plan, type of thing. And even if it ended, yesterday, man, let me tell you that I have had an amazing journey, connecting, with so many people, so many beautiful people out there, and just the connections, the relationships, the realness, the just hanging out and just enjoying each other, enjoying the moment, because obviously this life is only it's only borrowed. So you get I don't know if it's because of the stage I'm at, but I try to appreciate every second of it, so definitely it has been an amazing journey. But yeah, I want to make sure. I know sometimes we're all running, like I said before, we run. So I got to make sure that I remind people that I'm over here, showing love to the world. It's a cause, so whoever wants in, man, let's do this, baby. You know, put your superhero cape on, and you know, let's keep changing the foodie world one bite at a time.
My man. Let me ask you another question because you know, to give me some idea of what you think about the podcast. You know, questions we've asked, and I know a lot of this has been, you know, off kilter in some areas and whatnot, and we do appreciate that. Give us your idea so we can be better at what we do, and also bring ourselves out there to more people out there.
Oh no, man! Like I, you know, the whole screen, like the whole. I mean, I think it's you guys are doing it right. You know, I think it was one of the things that that you guys said. It's you know, and one of the keys to success, right, is don't stop, keep doing it. Like for me, with my business, like, oh, I could easily reach out to people and gain millions of followers overnight, right? But I choose not to. I don't need that shit, right? Like it's been, you know, you know, that's why, you know, I should be probably over 100,000 if I really put an effort into it, but I never asked for this, right? I never looked for it, or maybe I did. I don't know. I'm still a little confused because I did initiate it, and it you know, took me as far as it's taken me, and but yeah, going back to it, it's just, you know, like, the key to one of the keys to success is consistency, right? And you know, you guys are gonna formulate your own formula as far as like how you want your podcast to be, and I mean, no, yeah, for me, I think for me it was like, damn, like you know, I think I should have been more ready. I don't know why I fumbled the ball a couple more times than I thought I was gonna fumble. But like I said, you know, we keep the show going. You know, we always bring our A, B, and Z game. You know, we don't stop, and I think that's you know, for you to have a successful podcast. Like I said, man, you got to be passionate about it, and you can't stop. You can't stop. You know, because you know, I mean, you know, let me ask you a question. Do you guys love what you're doing right now?
Oh yeah, man. This is the reason why we do it. Is because it's one of the things that we like. We meet so many people, we learn so much, and it's humbling sometimes to hear the stories that people go through because you know, we're all running through the same thing in life, trying to, you know, build ourselves, learn about ourselves, trying to create, you know, our businesses. So it's been you know, it's like, you know, I don't know. It's something that just works, man. It's what I love to do, and you know, I probably could go to work and do something, but this is something I you know, I like doing, and I like the experiences that we have from it. You know, I don't know.
Okay,
Razak can speak for himself.
okay, but that's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's what should matter to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, why worry about other people, man? Like, do you do what feels right? It goes back to doing what feels right. Like, I don't know how long it's been that if the shit don't feel right, why am I gonna like proceed with it? Right? Like, it's either it feels right, it feels iffy, or the shit don't feel right at all.
Man.
Why am I gonna keep pushing if it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel like the shit don't feel right at all? Like, for me, it has to feel right, and it's gonna reflect.
Well, it has to be some kind of reward that you're receiving, and you know, through the podcast, you know, as I was stating earlier, you know, sometimes you can feel kind of down or something, you know what I mean, or there might have been a destructive behavior that you have displayed, you know, in your earlier years. You know, you was wild and out of control, and you know what I mean, or it could be a whole bunch of different things that make a person want to start getting in their business together and start saying, I want to live on the other side, you know, because when I first started doing the podcast and doing my business for United Minority Business Ventures, you know, I was always working for somebody else. And there's always like, okay, I'm putting in all this effort and to get somebody else what he was dreaming about, you know, creating and how he was building his foundation. So I said, well, let me go ahead and create a business off of all the work I've done for other people and let me say how I would like to conduct business. So when the podcast came along, it was like, well, okay, well, you're going over to these events. We're going to go do this. We're going to go talk to these people. And then we're going to come back and we're going to post our own personal pictures. Then we came to like, okay, well, what about the other people? What about this good conversation we just had with this lady who sold us this and that, or this dude who sold us this art stuff? So then you start saying, well, hey, well, what if we did an interview with him? Because basically when you're talking to these people, if you just had a camera and a mic right there, which you already do, that's your interview. You're kind of doing a little mini interview right there. So it's like, okay, well, now you're starting to say, hey, this person, man, he's a real person. He's not like, okay, so say like you go to these McDonald's and these Chick-fil-A and all that stuff. You're always dealing with workers, people who they're being hired and fired as quick as, you can snap your fingers. They're there. You got some people who may be working there for 5-10 years and don't never climb up to a corporate status. They're always there, and that's fine. There's nothing to say about it. That's what you decide to do. This is the type of career you decide to get in. But what I'm mentioning is the person who's behind the business. What is this doing for them? Now let's knock that down a little bit and get into the small business. Small business owners are trying to get up to that level. What I mean? So we don't never know how, unless we go through some kind of history channel, we don't never know how Starbucks started or something like that. They might have went through something, and it might have been 50 years ago. But right now we're at a point where these small businesses are trying to get somewhere up to that level. And if it's not about, always the numbers and all that stuff, there is a financial part to it. So there's always aspects to any business. Of course, you want to get paid, but the thing of it is what are you actually getting paid for? Is it getting paid for because you're building up retirement? You got an illness, you got all these different illness, you got illnesses, conditions, and other family members with illnesses and conditions. You got mental stuff going on. You just got old age going on. You got burials, people, COVID hit, that all that stuff are financial, more, they're more, I should say, stacking against you, as life continues on and you get older. Okay, so now, because it's just like we always find out, when you was younger and you was like, hey, mom, I want this, I want this, I want that. And you're going around. We didn't know that mom and pops had to go work for all this time, deal with all these people, come in, do the bills, do all these different things to provide you with this. So now we're in that position saying, okay, well, hey, well, damn, mom and pops did a lot. They had to deal with a lot. So, so the reward comes in knowing, like saying, hey, these people that we're dealing with, the people that we're hearing, we're getting you guys a story from, it's more of a personal satisfaction versus saying, okay, hey, it's money or followers and stuff. It's hearing what you guys had went through is similar to what we're doing, and now we can communicate. We can say like, hey, there's something that we have in common with a whole lot of different people. But think about all the people that you would have passed up going to your, if you went to an event show and you just passed them up and never said nothing to them, it's a different kind of experience when you stop and actually say, hey, how are you doing? How was your day? How is this going? And you actually have an interaction with them versus just going in there and going, like say you go to Walmart or something like that, or whatever store you may shop from, and you say like, okay, well, you might go to the Adidas store, Nike shop or something like that. It's getting more expensive. And then you just go in there and you just grab the stuff and then you just leave, versus saying I come in here and I communicate with these people. We have a conversation. I know this guy, and it's not for no discount. Let's say that at first. You're not talking in your way into no discount or nothing, or the drop cut the prices, but it's just a familiarness because everybody's going to these vendor shows. So if I see you at a vendor show, I can be like, hey, that's funny man, what's going on? Because I see you at the show and I see this guy at the show. I see this guy at the show. But you never say nothing to each other. But you're seeing each other all the time. Because when I be seeing people all the time, it's like, well, damn, well, who is that? Let me go and say hi. Let me just meet you because I'm seeing you all the time. Maybe there's a reason I keep seeing you. Maybe we're supposed to meet. Maybe we're supposed to just say hi, or whatever it may be. But and that's how the podcast kind of is presenting itself. These are people that we're seeing all the time. These are people that you may want to meet and have an interaction with, because these are the same stories that you're going through, the same struggles you're going through with your business. Somebody else did it, or they're going through it right now. How do you navigate through that? Well, look at the podcast. Look at the Hoodfoodie. You know, you want to go over there and taste foods, because before we seen you, I was thinking of doing that. And I was saying, yeah, what if we just went to these places and we got all these guys that's on a podcast with food. Let's go over there and taste their food. And then it's like, well, there's a guy doing that. He's the Hoodfoodie. I'm like, well, damn, well, look at this guy. You know what I mean? So I was like, well, let's get him on. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, well, so now it's like, okay, well, there's always an idea that somebody's doing it, might be doing it better than you. They might be doing it just fine. And we can, instead of me doing it, we just keep calling on you. Hey, look, Hoodfoodie, we need you to come over here to this event and taste these guys' food. And then, you know what I mean? That way it's a double kind of reward that we're receiving, and that we're networking, we're piggybacking off each other's businesses. We're doing everything that we need to do to promote and advertise and market both for our businesses. And it's a win-win situation all the time.
Oh no, yeah. For me, like right now, I'm at the point where like you know, there's many opportunities that are like are forming, and you know, whoever, like I said, whoever wants to ride with me, whoever wants to make money, whoever else, you know, like I mean, obviously, it's not about the money. It's like you said, it starts first with the relationship. Everybody that I go into business with, I tell them like, if there's no communication, there's no relationship. Like that, for me, that's one of the biggest things, the communication, being transparent, because obviously, like, you know, like if I'm not going to know what you're going through, you're not going to know if you know, what I'm going through. Sometimes having the uncomfortable conversations, because at least you know where people are coming from, and you can either choose to work with it, or you know, decide whatever you want to decide. But right now, I'm on that trip where it's like, you know what I'm saying? Let's try to make this shit bigger, because I need to help more people out. So, no, yeah, I'm definitely in the same frequency. You know, networking, you know, uplifting, you know, each other up, because I've been giving too much, you know, of myself, and now it's just like, okay, you know, I want to save my energy for the people that deserve it, the people that want to rise up with me, the people that generally are doing it for the right reasons.
All right, there you go.
You know, I want to give you an opportunity to give out your business, your email, your phone number, how people get a hold of you. I want you to lay that down like you lay it down all the time in your commercial, on your Instagram. I want you to just put it out there right now, man. It's all on you.
No, yeah. Like I said, you can book me for, you know, real videos. I'll try hosting. I know I've done some karaoke before as well. You know, you can find me at the Hoodfoodie on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. I got a website, thehoodfoodie.com. Obviously, no, yeah, the Hoodfoodie, and then I'm also at thehoodfoodie@gmail.com. My contact number, I think, you know, they put it out here, 818-939-8523. For any business inquiries, just, you know, either email me, DM me. We are an S corporation, so we're, you know, obviously we're a small legitimate business. We provide invoices for, you know, for your needs at the end of the year. If you know, you know. Yeah, I think that's basically, you know, all the plugs. Stay tuned. These couple within these weeks, we're about to drop our merch line. You guys don't want to miss that. Trust me, you will feel the connection, whether you're part of the Familia or not. I wanted to create a product, like I said, not for promotional purposes, but to have a connection with the people that inspire me every day. And you guys know what's up. Tell them that the Hoodfoodie sent you.